was inconsistent with the way in which we do things at the department. You don't talk about closed investigations. You don't talk about pending investigations. And you have those rules in place so that when it comes to the special case, the case of big public interest, you've got some guidelines there. It's really kind of a wait-and-see thing, but they wanted to put in place a legal team to help the Attorney General and the lawyers that they have out there with what may happen, and in some specific areas with regard to the Affordable Care Act, environmental concerns, and then immigration as well.
We don't know a lot about what President Obama is going to be involved in once he leaves office, except this initiative with you. Can you give us a little insight about what you hope to accomplish?
We want to have fair districts. In Wisconsin, I guess in the last election in their state assembly, Republicans got about less than 50% of the vote and have now about 2/3 of the representation in the assembly there. And you see that in different parts of the country. And that leads, I think, to a non-representative democracy. But it also leads, I think, to this dysfunction that we see, where everybody has these safe districts, and so you're not worried about the general election, you're worried about getting primary. Now, it's hard for me to imagine that we're going to legalize crack. That's hard for me to see. Heroin, cocaine, I can't quite see that. And whether or not there are economic benefits that governments might get from the legalization of those drugs, I think there are societal costs that we would pay by allowing the more widespread use of certain substances that are. You can decriminalize everything and make it not a problem, right? We could decriminalize murder, and so we wouldn't have a homicide problem, right? It's not a crime. So I think the reality is that it means that there's a cost we pay in enforcement that we have to expend in incarceration that I think we can do better and in a less costly way. And a lot of it has to be viewed as public health. I think we're doing a good job with regard to this opioid epidemic. When we have an opioid epidemic that is hitting largely middle class and white America, we think of it as a public health issue. When we had crack in the inner cities, our response was to use the criminal justice system. And I don't say that what we're doing now is wrong. In fact, I think that's the right way to go. But we should have thought maybe a little more about that approach when we were dealing with the crack epidemic in the 90s. I mean, there always has to be a balance struck between that which you take into the federal system and that which stays with the states and localities. I mean, I think the danger here is not that much is going to be pushed into the localities, that the federal government's going to say we want to do more than we've done. I mean, as part of this criminal justice smart on crime package that I announced back in, I guess, 2013, I said, we got to ask ourselves, look at each case and say, is this a federal case? Because we bring, I thought, too many small-time drug cases into the federal system with these draconian mandatory minimum sentences. I actually worry that this next Justice Department might say, well, we're not going to do it the Holder way, we're going to do it in a different way, and we're going to bring back into the federal system cases that I think can probably better be handled on the state and local level. But an important part of the Justice Department is the Office of Justice Programs. It's a part of the department that is responsible for grant making, and I think that we did a pretty good job, and I would hope that the focus would be there as well to try to help our state and local partners with grants and funds for innovative ideas, techniques that Ken was doing, other people here, Cy Vance is trying to do, to help them experiment and find ways in which we can do these jobs, these criminal justice jobs, in a more efficient, more productive way. We are now at the beginning of a new administration, and I know there are lots of people who are concerned about how this is going to play out. You all are influential leaders. You are policy influencers, and I hope that you will use your power. Look at what the administration is doing. Don't go in with preconceived notions. Let's see what happens, But to the extent that opposition needs to be led or support given, I hope that you all will do that.